Hi, Jeff Mersace here, and we have with us today Yvonne Hopkins of Hopkins Law Firm, and we're going to talk a little bit, about custody and special needs children. What are some considerations that need to be discussed when there's a special needs child in the middle of a divorce?
Well, I think what's really important is that we know and can identify what the special need is and what the child needs in order to thrive and succeed.
Okay.
So, and each case is different. So sometimes if a child is autistic and not good at change and transition, we're going to want to tailor a custody schedule to make transitions and changes as smooth and as infrequent as possible. Whereas if we have a child who has a handicap and can't maneuver well or needs special accommodations in their home, like ramps and other, or sight type issues, then we're going to make sure that the child, that we're advocating that the child end up in the home where the child has those comforts, or that the other parent is able to provide them in the other location. And then we're talking now about minor children, but very often special needs children have needs that surpass their childhood, and they don't outgrow them, and they are often dependents on their parents, and they can be for their entire lives.
Yeah, I guess that's a good area to explore a little bit. How do you handle things with an adult special needs child versus a minor special needs child? What are some of the things that really have to be thought out?
So unfortunately in North Carolina, after the age of 22, there is no child support for a special needs child, or any child for that matter. And so if the child is going to go into an adulthood and still require a high level of care, may prevent one of the parents from working because of that level of care, or may need round-the-clock nursing, or other needs that an adult child wouldn't need. It's important when we're identifying how we're going to divide the marital estate, how we're going to determine whether or not a parent is entitled to spousal support, because we have to take into consideration child support is going to end at some point, but this child's need isn't going to end. And so we want to ask for things like an unequal distribution when we're dividing the marital estate if the caretaking parent needs the house because the house can provide certain things for the child, like the ramps and the handicap assist, the wider doors and that kind of thing, or an unequal distribution because that child's need prevents a parent from working full time. We can also...
Yeah, so I guess that kind of gets into issues of maybe increased spousal support to get around that. How does that factor into things?
Exactly. So we could ask for more of the marital estate as one of the factors for the court to consider. We can make an argument about spousal support and why it needs to either be of a longer duration or of a larger amount. And very often, both parents, in my cases that aren't so highly contested, the parent who's not the caretaker and there is a special needs child, very often they'll understand that there is just a different need here, and they do step up to the plate. But if they don't, we're going to have to ask the court to intervene and put in some factors. Hopefully they're married, and we can get the need in other places, like through equitable distribution or through alimony. If they're not married and the person doesn't agree to anything, the caretaking parent is just out of luck, because there's nothing available to offset the fact that child support would terminate.
Right, and I guess that almost, especially for an adult special needs child, you start getting into areas of like Social Security disability and Medicaid, but that's probably something for a whole other topic that we could look at some other point.
Well, but you've touched on a really good point. So there are special needs trusts, there are special needs, there are things that you can do through Social Security, and see what is available for that child. But again, that may not be sufficient to cover mortgage, utilities, nursing, whatever it is that's required. And so it's important that if we can try to get it through the divorce process, great. But if not, you're absolutely right. That's the only other avenue.
Well, great. Thank you for being here with us today, Yvonne. Can you let our audience know what's the best way to get in touch with you if they have questions?
Absolutely. So we're in North Raleigh on Falls of News, just north of the 540. Our web address is www.raleighlawfirm.net, and our number is 919-268-4070, and I'm Yvonne Hopkins of Hopkins Law Firm.
All right. Well, thank you, Yvonne, for that valuable information.
Thank you.